So I've caught up with Tomo Bystedt here at the TaylorMade booth. We're at the PGA Tour Superstore training session at Streamsong, and I wanted to talk to him about a driver that's already making a lot of noise in the world of golf, and it's a SIM driver from TaylorMade. Now, Tomo, I know the SIM has a number of different models. Let's start with this, the first SIM driver, which has the adjustability to it, but you want to take us through some of the features and benefits of why this is so special?
Yeah, so, you know, Matt, really the biggest thing here is the shape is all new on these drivers, which is why we changed the name of it,
okay,
right? That's where this SIM comes from. Shape in motion is what it is.
Oh!
Yeah, it's an acronym,
very
right?
Cool.
Yeah, so, and it's all about kind of building aerodynamics around what happens to the club in the downswing of the golf, you know, during your golf swing, so that you can build an aerodynamics from when it's open in this path all the way to impact. And that's why the bottom is asymmetric the way it is.
Okay.
And so really, that really unlocks a ton of performance in terms of club head speed, but then the typical trade-off that you get is that you lose some of that forgiveness in the club. When you sweep that sole up, you get that CG creeping up and all that. That's why we have this, what we call the inertia generator down here, which is basically positioning that weight down low in the sole and as far back as you possibly can. You can see that from that toe view, right? How far down that is and how far back it is. And
down and back, so we're lowering the center of gravity as a result.
Okay. And increasing inertia, all while keeping that aerodynamic performance in the club by keeping that crown really high. So it's really that kind of revolution in terms of shape that's unlocking a bunch of performance in this club.
Let's start by going piece by piece through the club, Tomo, for a second. First of all, let's talk about this carbon crown, because this gives you an option to move a lot of weight.
Absolutely, yeah. So we save a ton of weight by putting a carbon crown in, and as you can see, we've kind of expanded how far we're pushing that in now, so it's really covering the entire top of the club, and that's really, again, freeing up discretionary weight that then we're using that to create the low CG and that high MOI design.
Okay, now I want to talk about the face just for a second, because there's technology that you guys spearheaded that's inherent in this face, so that not only are we taking a step forward overall, but we're keeping what's working so well.
Exactly. So I mean, the SIM is all about basically leveraging stuff that we built before that works great, making it better and introducing new things at the same time. So the face is a perfect example of that. So the twist face logo that you see there obviously is that twist face technology we introduced in 2018, where we essentially kind of incorporated a way to see how golfers swing differently from robots. Right? Yeah. So it's all about, essentially, we see the tendency of golfers when they hit on the toe, they tend to close the face too much and they hit it left. When they hit on the heel, they do the opposite. And so we curve the face to counteract that effect. So the heel is de-lofted and we add a little bit of loft and open the face and the toe. So that's kind of that technology that has worked fantastic. Obviously, you've seen that with tour players as much as we've seen it with amateur golfers as well. Now, the other one is the speed injection technology, and that's really a technology where we essentially try to get that CT as fast as we possibly can, the speed of the face right up to the limit, by basically measuring the clubs before they go through the final processing. We inject the heel and the toe with this resin to check, make sure those limits are right up against what the USGN RNA allows for speed in the face.
And it maximizes performance across the width and breadth of the face. So too does the twist face.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got a lot to unpack here when we talk about the soul of this club. We already talked about the design, lowering the center of gravity so that you get a higher initial launch angle and momentum. You can actually adjust this SIM if you want to have a bias, say, towards a draw or a fade.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. So, you know, you've seen track systems from us in the past of various types, and one of the things that we did on this SIM driver, which is different from what we've done in the past, is we actually simplified it a little bit. Because one of the things we saw with both tour players and amateur golfers is that they were using one of those weights always at the back to get the forgiveness. So we preloaded some of the forgiveness by having this weight back here, and then simplifying this to make it simply a draw and a fade option. So this is sort of the last step in your dialing in your fitting, or when you're testing the product, is, you know, oh, I'd like to go 5 yards more left, you just tweak that weight a little bit, and then you're not changing anything else on it.
Now, speaking about tweaking, the hosel on these drivers, once again, as you guys have been doing, completely customizable.
Correct, yeah. So we have up to 2 degrees of adjustment there, both from a loft and face angle standpoint. So you can actually add, this is a 10.5 driver here, but you can get that up to 12.5 or all the way down to 8.5.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, this one looks great, but it's not the only one in the line. Remember, there's 3 different SIM drivers that TaylorMade is offering. This is the SIM Max. What's different here than what we just saw? Yeah,
so again, all the same technologies that we talked about pretty much, except for one key thing. So we've actually removed the track system from the bottom and actually delivered more weight at the back as a result of that. So essentially, we're removing adjustability but adding more forgiveness in the club. So the max really stands for max forgiveness, max MOI in the club. And so this is about an 8-gram additional weight here, and also the face is slightly larger on this driver as well.
Excellent. Now, going along that same theme, there's also the SIM Max D. Tell us of that.
Yeah, so that one sort of takes the progression even one step further. What we're actually doing in the SIM Max D, if you want to turn it over to the sole, is we're actually taking some of that weight out here and putting it in the heel of the club, to enable that player to turn it over a little more easily.
Nice.
And then we do another interesting thing too. We actually make the face even larger. It's our biggest face for a long time on the face. And then the final part is we're doing this really cool visual thing, Matt, where we're actually making the face a little bit shut, again, to help the golfer hit left, but visually not show it. So that the masking on the top actually make the club look square at address. Cool. So the golfer doesn't see the closed face and they still release it properly, but then when the club actually arrives at the ball, it's actually slightly more shut.
Very cool.
So we're getting up to 20 yards of draw-bys just with that system.
That's the SIM Max D. If you struggle, say you hit a little bit of a fade, or I hate to say the word a slice, that might be a great option for you as well. So TaylorMade has a lot of great options throughout the course of their line this year. The SIM, the new driver, is already, as I mentioned, making a lot of noise in the world of golf, particularly at the highest levels and tours around the world. It may be a driver that you want to look at for this year.